So I really like the topic of like GPUs and CPUs and just like gaming computers and gaming PCs and stuff like that. And I haven't done a video on that lately. I did one a long time ago explaining what GPUs are, and I might make a few more about those and stuff like that. But today I'm going to be comparing the RTX 580 and the 590. 590 is almost double the price of the 580. So let's get started on which one is better, what are the specs of each, and let's say you do have like an old PC right now, if you should upgrade, if you have the 580, if should you upgrade to the 590, or like what should you do, and is that extra price worth it? So let's get started with this video. So let's get started with the basics. The 580 has around 10,000 cores and 16 GB RAM, while the 590 has double the RAM and double the cores, so around 20,000 cores and 32 GB of memory, which is a lot. So far it's looking pretty good. Double the price and double the specs so far, but let's dive into some more. So for the bandwidth and the bus, the 580 has 256 bits and an 896 gigabytes per second, and for the 590 it's 512 bits and 1792, which is basically like almost two times. So two times again, so pretty good specs so far, very good actually. The 590 doubles the 580. So it's pretty good if you want this. The specs are amazing, so you're gonna have some very good graphics. And the raw performance for the 590 is like 50 to 55% actually faster than the 580. So the specs are definitely better, but there's also a very noticeable difference for the raw performance, like just the FPS and stuff like that. The 580 hits a solid 60 FPS for like games like Cyberpunk and a lot of other ones, and the 590 does better actually. We don't know the exact specs, but it shines better with like heavier frame rates and handles like more heavier scenes and stuff like that better than the 580. The 580 uses about 360 watts of power, which is a lot, but the 590 uses even more, around 575 watts. So you have to take that in consideration too, because the 590 is definitely better, but uses more power too. The 580 is already expensive. A PC that I would want would be like definitely below $1,000, maybe around 800, 700 would be a pretty good price for me, since I'm not going to be doing anything crazy. But just the Nvidia GPU 580 is $1,000, so it's already so expensive. But the 590 doubles that, more than doubles, and the price is like $2,000, which is crazy just for a GPU. But you are going to get 50% more performance, better performance for the 590 instead of the 580. So like I said again, you have to take this into consideration. You're gonna get a way higher price, but a better performance too. So if you're gonna play those like very heavy games like Cyberpunk and stuff like that, it's gonna be hard to play with like an older GPU, so you might want to consider switching if you're gonna be playing all those huge games. And for the availability, this is a big one. 580 is not really that available since a lot of gamers want it. It's not super high priced like the 590, so a lot of people use that, but it's also not like crazy expensive like the 590. So a lot of people aren't going to buy the 590, but a lot of people will buy the 580. So both are like kind of like out of reach, you would say. And I would probably definitely recommend staying with the 580, or if you want a new GPU, buying a 580, since it's not super expensive, and then you're also compromising the price for like very good frame rates and like resolution still, but it's not going over the top, I feel like, with the 590. The 590 is amazing if you're like a professional gamer, you're gonna compete in these like huge competitions and stuff. Maybe go with the 590, get some better frame rate and stuff like that. But 580 will be completely fine for like casual gamers, even some competitive gamers will be fine with the 580. So I'd say like 95% of you stay with the 580 or buy the 580 if you're buying it. I would actually recommend buying something even cheaper, since I feel like $1,000 just for a GPU is like a bit too much and a bit over the top. But like 590 is just crazy, so I'd stick with 580 if I were you, or maybe buy the 580. So just a quick summary. 580 is about like, I think, the sweet spot. It has pretty good performance, pretty good cost. I wouldn't say good, it's pretty expensive, but like pretty reasonable cost for its specs. And then it's pretty efficient too, not too much power, while the 590 is used probably for elite cases and elite gamers, and it uses a ton of power and also very expensive. So it depends what you want. So that's it for today's video. Definitely stick with the 580 if you have it, unless you're an elite gamer or you just really want that smooth frame rate and also that huge high resolution. But that's it for today's video. Comment down below if you want maybe to like make another one like this, or maybe show you what I want to buy for my PC or something like that. But I'll see you next one. Bye for now. YouTube Pro out.